Hi everyone, this is Hiba here with Seller Mobile, and I have got a special guest with me, Vicky with Payability. And today we're talking all things inventory, specifically stocking out, running out of stock, and really what you can do to avoid it. But, running out of stock on Amazon is sort of inevitable. And so we want to make sure that you guys know what to do to make sure that you minimize the impacts of running out of stock once you get to that point. So Vicky's got some tips and tricks for us here. So Vicky, why don't we start with the first thing? So what can someone do when they realize that, oh man, stock is running low? What do I do now?
I would say the top two things that they can really do right now, really quickly, to keep their place within Amazon would be to temporarily raise your price or shut down the listing.
So let's talk about raising prices. So how would that impact the seller? So you're running low on stock, you're raising your prices. What will that do?
So that will most likely slow down sales temporarily, but you're still making sales. So Amazon's still going to see that the listing is making sales, so they're not going to move the listing to the bottom of the page or anything. So you can really keep your place within Amazon. Gives you time to restock and buy the inventory that you need without stocking out or having to I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
Without actually stocking out or losing your rank within Amazon.
Right. Exactly. So raising your prices, yes, it will decrease the amount of sales that you do. However, you're still selling and Amazon still sees you as someone who is making those sales. And so they make sure that that doesn't really negatively impact your sales performance. And of course, you don't want that to be your long-term solution, but this is just sort of what you can do when you notice that you are running low on stocks is slightly, not drastically, increase your prices, maybe depending on what you're selling by a few cents, by a few dollars, to make sure that you slow down the sales. Okay, so you are now at a point where you increased your prices, but you're still selling, and now you stocked out. So that was the second thing that you mentioned. So what can you do to make sure that Amazon doesn't sort of ping you and negatively hold your lack of sales? What do you do to that listing?
So once you've stocked out?
Yeah, exactly.
You definitely want to shut down the listing to show Amazon that you're no longer selling that product. So that way they're not moving you to the bottom of the page because they don't see sales. I mean, as you probably realized, everything in Amazon's algorithm is really optimized towards sales performance. Right. So that way Amazon sees that you're just not selling the product, not that you're necessarily out of stock.
Exactly. So once you've closed that listing, which is a good idea. I know it seems counterintuitive, but it's a good idea to do. Now, you waited that time, you got stock back in, either FBA, your own warehouse, however you're selling. What do you do now? How can you use PPC advertising to kind of get back to where you were before?
Yeah, so once you've reopened that listing, and gotten your stock into your warehouse or the FBA warehouse, you really want to ramp up on your PPC spend, at least temporarily spend like more than you normally would. Just so you can ramp up your sales and get seen again by, the audience you were already in front of. And that way, Amazon will see that listing is creating sales, and that will result in organic sales as well, and you regaining your place within Amazon a lot more quickly than if you were trying to do that without PPC spend.
Exactly. So yeah, as sellers, you know those keywords that do well, and they might be a little bit more expensive, but go ahead and increase that, that spend that you have, that daily spend amount. That way you can make sure that you get back up far quicker than you would organically or on your own. And then once you're there, give it a little time, see how the ads are impacting your sales, and then you can come back down. You don't have to stay up. You can come back down gradually to make sort of most of that time that you've got when you were out of stock. And then so okay, so we talked about raising prices, we talked about closing your listings, we talked a little bit about what do you do to get back up, but the question still stands: what can you do to avoid having to do these things, right? So what can you do to avoid coming to a point where you are low on stock and out of stock? So how does payability help Amazon sellers with that?
Sure. So Payability, we're a financing company for Amazon sellers. So we help people get the financing they need to, again, just avoid stockouts, stay in stock, keep that sales momentum going, and keep their place within Amazon, which is huge, especially as Amazon gets more and more competitive. And we have two products that can really help you do that. And the first is Instant Access, which is our daily payments product. And so instead of getting paid every 14 plus days like you would on Amazon or Walmart or another e-commerce platform, we're gonna get you paid every day. So you'll get access to yesterday's sales today. So that can really help you, again, keep that cash flow going so that you never have to stock out. You always have money to order new inventory. Our second product is Instant Advance, where we'll give you a lump sum of cash, usually up to a month's worth of Amazon payouts today, so that you can go ahead and order even more inventory, and maybe invest in that safety stock that, in addition to the inventory you're already ordering, in order to, again, keep your business running and sell more of what sells and stay within Amazon. Keep your spot within Amazon.
Exactly.
Which is what it's all about. And two other things I definitely want to mention about Payability that can also help you avoid a stock out is that there are no credit checks. You can get your money in less than 24 hours. So no bank statements, no credit checks. Applying is super easy, and you can get your money in 24 hours because we don't check your credit. It's all based on your Amazon account health and sales performance. So definitely check it out. And if you really see you're running out of stock, you can get money quickly. So that's awesome.
Awesome. So, I think that this is all kind of boils down to inventory management, right? So it boils down to kind of how you manage your inventory, what you're keeping track of to make sure that you don't come to that point where you are, running low or out of stock. And so, seller mobile customers already know this is, we've got the lost sales analysis tool that helps you see what you're bound to lose in sales because of lack of or out of inventory. And so using tools like that, and then if you've got that issue of cash flow to make sure that you avoid those lost sales, you've got partners like Payability. So Amazon sellers really have a ton of tools at their disposal to take advantage of to make sure that they can analyze their Amazon business, sort of figure out what you need to do, and then you've got these other resources like Payability where you can get that cash. So it's great to know and have that information, but then to be able to do something about it is really where Payability comes in, so you can make sure that you're continuing to grow your business. Anything else that you hear from customers that you think, you guys talk to customers all the time, just like we do, Amazon sellers, those are our customers. What do they want to know about their, out of stock, out of inventory, solutions and sort of along that scheme?
Sure. So one thing that we find that a lot of our customers do is they really leverage cash flow to build their relationships with their suppliers, mm-hmm. so that when they're running out of inventory in Q4, the day after Black Friday, right. you've consistently paid them early, right. Because you have all this great cash flow from Payability. So you have a great relationship with them, and you better believe they're going to take your call when you run out of stock. So. It's another thing a lot of people don't think of just leveraging cash flow to build relationships with suppliers and paying your suppliers early in order to get them to always return your calls and get you that safety stock when you need it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Inventory is key. Having that safety stock to make sure that, you don't have to drastically raise your prices or close down your listings, which is, can be really detrimental for sales. And then, having to spend more on PPC and sort of do that whole thing. So, yeah, well, guys, this is great information, for Amazon sellers out there. Check out Payability, see what they do. It sounds like it's a very easy, quick, fast setup process, which you guys make that really convenient for sellers, which Amazon's great at too. And so is Seller Mobile. So, we are absolutely there for customers. So this is just tips and tricks on avoiding stock out, and then what to do to make sure that you minimize the impacts of stock out, and then just building those relationships with your suppliers, which I think is really important. So thank you so much, Vicki, for, sharing your little nuggets of information with us. We appreciate it, and thanks a lot.